Chapter 11. The Arrival. Leora, as the first envoy of the Yunda Republic, glided through the crowd, hiding her golden hair beneath a gray shawl. Her hair fell over her shoulders in soft waves, each strand resembling a fine golden thread gleaming under the sunlight. Its brilliance dazzled even in daylight. Her facial features were delicate and refined. Her thin brows softly framed her defined eyes, and her lips were gently curved. Full. There was a natural radiance on her skin. Her smooth, fair complexion formed a marvelous contrast with the golden hue of her hair and the emerald green of her eyes. Her gaze was calm, yet resolute, as if she carried all the secrets of the world within her. Her eyes scanned the intentions of the merchants, beggars, and secret glances around her. The Yunda Republic was a closed society, its contact with the outside world very limited. Though the Republic gathered information from beyond its borders, this was the first time Leora had stepped outside her country and come to the Aeon Empire. Her movements, like her appearance, were graceful. With each step it was as if a light breeze blew, and when she spoke, her voice came out in a velvet-like soft and soothing tone. The energy she radiated was peaceful, yet powerful. Leora enchanted not only with her beauty, but with her very presence, and the light within her. Yunda's pacifist, closed-off society had raised her for peace. Her sharp wit and her ability to calm emotions were her greatest weapons. But here, in the shadows of imperial intrigues, she felt like a stranger. Great danger loomed, and the mission entrusted to her by the Council of the Republic haunted her mind like a shadow. The weight of the duty bestowed upon her pressed heavier on her shoulders with each step. Until she met with the leaders of the Aeon Empire, she had to keep her true identity hidden, and she could not disappoint those who trusted her. In the narrow street of the famous marketplace of Pax Valor, the capital of the Aeon Empire, she paused among fabric stalls. With her entourage, she was examining the textiles. Suddenly, a shadow appeared beside her. Slowly raising her eyes, she saw a richly dressed man in a deep red coat, a gold-embroidered vest, and holding an elegant staff.
"If I were you, I wouldn't touch those fabrics, my lady,"
said the man, his voice dripping with mocking sarcasm.
"With those emerald eyes, the delicate curves of your refined cheekbones, and above all that slender waist, you deserve more than ordinary fabrics. You need something to envelop you entirely. For example, at my friend Voris's shop, there are rare silks from the land of Zul. When they touch your skin, they caress even your soul," he whispered, running a single finger lightly across the girl's back. "Shall we see them? What do you say?"
Leora's face tightened, her brows furrowed. Anger rose within her, yet there was a strange allure in the man's insolent demeanor that made her even more furious.
"Do I know you?"
she asked, her voice sharp with defiance. Her voice trembled, her heart pounding fast.
"In your empire, does everyone dare to so brazenly violate the privacy of a woman they don't know? Or is this your own special talent?"
The man smiled, stepping closer, his eyes roaming over Leora, studying every detail as if it were a work of art.
"My boldness is innate, my talents boundless, and my compliments are worthy of the fairest in the realm. I am none other than Kitai, the new head of the Merchants Guild. Every thread, every coin in this market passes through my hands. It is my responsibility to ensure that ladies such as yourself receive only the finest goods."
Gathering herself, Leora tried to lend seriousness to her voice.
"I am Aelin Sanare. My father is a harbour master in the archipelago. I am here for port supply agreements,"
she said, struggling to keep her composure, for she could not cause a scene nor reveal her true identity. The man tilted his head, pretending to believe.
Cenarium, eh? What a pleasant surprise. For a beauty such as yours, I could have my guild prepare a list of the best suppliers. If only you would try those silks I mentioned, I would dearly like to see how they fit your skin.
Leoara's patience was being tested, but clinging to her role, she replied,
Thank you, but I wish to walk alone right now.
her hands trembling as she spoke. Her face flushed, waves of anger mixed with other emotions filling her. How could this man be so insolent? But his eyes seemed to hide something. No, nonsense, she thought. He's just an arrogant fool made bold by his title and wealth, her heart racing. Watching her reaction, the man stepped back with a faint smile, though his eyes still lingered on her.
Very well, Lady Aelin. Let us meet again soon,
he said in an impressive tone. His gaze and movements were as if waiting for her next step. With a flourish of his hat, he bowed and cast her one last look. The woman forced a smile, gritting her teeth, and replied,
Perhaps one day with my entourage we may visit your guild.
Believing she had gotten rid of him, she quickly hurried away. Leoara was unsettled by the man's manner, yet a strange curiosity stirred within her.
When did the guildmaster change? Why were we not informed of this?
She turned sharply to her maid Vede, her voice edged with authoritative reprimand.
Why don't I know this? Are you asleep, or what is this negligence?
Vede had never seen the envoy so angry and stepped back in shock.
Your Excellency, I had no knowledge, truly,
she stammered. Another attendant, blushing, intervened.
Nor did I, madam. We should have been informed of such changes in the city, but no such information reached us.
While struggling to hide her anger and panic, Leoara slipped her hand into her pocket and noticed a bulge. What now? She thought furiously, pulling out a piece of paper. The paper carried a scent of lavender and bore a note.
Come for a walk by the lakeside this evening. When the sun set, I will be there. May the light of your eyes brighten our night.
Signed, K. Furiously, she looked around, crumpling and throwing away the paper, her emerald eyes scanning the crowd. But the man had already slipped away, watching her from the rooftop of a nearby house like an eagle. A satisfied smile played on his lips.
Easier than I thought,
he said confidently.
This girl cannot hide her feelings. I've never seen one so innocent.
The envoy and her entourage continued through the marketplace. What a strange day, thought Leoara. At that moment, a beggar's cry rose from the edge of the market. A stall toppled, fabrics spilled onto the ground, their colors swirling in the wind, amplifying the chaos. Vede rushed to her side.
Your Excellency, a fight has broken out. Let us leave.
Amid the turmoil, Leoara thought she glimpsed the man's silhouette. He seemed to wink at her before vanishing. Leoara was certain she had kept her identity hidden, but the man's manner and gaze stirred suspicion within her. Was this encounter truly a coincidence?
Let us go to the place we are lodging without drawing further attention,
she said. Chapter 12. The Sacred Pact Ball. The imperial palace of the Middle Kingdom blazed beneath the light of the three suns, its crystal domes shining like fire. Inside, music drifted through the echoes of stone walls, merging with silk carpets and the sparkle of silver goblets. Yet behind all this splendor, every glance hid an intention, and every smile concealed a blade. They had reached the height of summer in the Aeonian calendar. It was the traditional anniversary of the Sacred Pact, signed in the year 6666 after the Shadow. This blessed week, which united the wills of the kings and the emperor through a mutual accord, was celebrated every year. At the week's end, came the traditional ball attended by aristocrats and state officials, along with festivities among the people. But this year's events resembled not a celebration, but a game of wits conducted in shadows. When the day of the ball arrived, private chambers were reserved for each special guest, where the nobles' attendants and retinues were received with care, while the palace itself was guarded unceasingly and tightly by imperial guards. From every corner of the empire, nobles, lords, and ladies filled the ballroom. Yet strangely, neither the kings nor the emperor appeared. Something seemed amiss. Those in the ballroom could not make sense of it, and rumors spread in whispers. Carl entered the hall with Mira on his arm. Convincing her to attend had not been easy. To the courtiers, Mira was a stranger, and curious eyes followed them, wondering who this woman beside Prince Carl might be. Carl leaned gently toward her ear and asked,
Any trouble?
Everything is fine,
Mira replied softly. At that moment, Lamar Felicitas approached, the famed son of the Northern King's commander, celebrated among women as the most handsome man in the empire. Lamar, tall and imposing, moved through the crowd as if gliding above it. His steps carried excessive show, and his posture brimmed with the arrogance of a man who took himself far too seriously. His blonde hair, usually wavy, was slicked back that day, though he never missed a chance to toss his head slightly so that strands would fall forward again. His jawline was sharp, his Adam's apple pronounced, and the half-smirk that clung to his lips seemed to promise that whatever he was about to say would certainly shame someone. His pale blue eyes looked less like they were listening and more like they were weighing and judging, only to then slip into a tone of condescension. His clothing was expensive yet carelessly relaxed, the sort of man who chose not to hide wealth but flaunt it. From head to toe his body language declared, "I am here, and I don't care about you," masking his ambition beneath a polished shell of charm.
I don't recall meeting this fine lady before, Carl. If I had, I would surely remember. I'm almost certain she isn't noble. Tell me, are you once again making a lady out of the gutter for yourself? From which street did you pick her up to bring her into our sacred ball?
Lamar sneered, his tone dripping with vulgar contempt as he stood before them. The hostility between Carl and Lamar went back years. Once childhood companions, they had grown to despise each other since youth.
I doubt you've ever seen anything like her in that heap of filth you call the Northern Palace, Lamar. Leave us be, and go break the hearts of other women waiting to throw themselves at you. I cannot tolerate your presence near me. Fighting barbarians has left you no different from them.
Carl replied in a sharp, commanding tone. Lamar gave a silent nod of acknowledgement, smirked mockingly at them both, lifted his brows with disdain, and withdrew. Mira, meanwhile, was on the verge of exploding, unable to contain her anger. Carl leaned quietly toward her ear and whispered,
"Stay calm. He's trying to provoke you. It was a foolish move, but at least it gave us the opportunity we needed. Leave in tears and go find Tech."
Mira nodded quietly and moved to play her role convincingly. As she left in tears, everyone around cast sympathetic looks her way. Tech, disguised as a palace servant, escorted her out of the hall to assist her. The dance was about to begin. By tradition, it was expected that the emperor would lead the opening dance, but the emperor was nowhere to be seen. His long illness had been kept hidden from the people. At that moment, the great doors of the hall swung open. The envoy of the Yundar Republic, Leowara, glided in with her retinue, wearing a sapphire-colored robe. Her golden hair flowed in waves over her shoulders, and her emerald-green eyes shone brightly, her beauty capturing the attention of all amid the splendor. A murmur spread across the hall. With such a grand entrance, everyone whispered to each other, wondering who this striking woman might be. Carl, dressed in a grey noble cloak, approached her. When Leowara realized who was coming toward her, she could hardly believe her eyes and faltered. The mocking merchant she had met in the marketplace days ago now stood before her as a royal noble.
You,
Leora managed to say, stunned. Carl inclined his head slightly in greeting, his voice steady and formal.
Imperial Judge, Prince Carl Justikar, we are honored by your presence at our sacred ball, my lady. May I learn your name and from which kingdom you hail? And if I may add, you have graced our night with a beauty that outshines all else.
His tone was polite and captivating, though his face bore a hidden trace of arrogant mockery. Overcome with shock and excitement, Leowara could not answer at first. Carl leaned closer, bending slightly to whisper.
Or should I instead ask, what business does Lady Aelin, the secret envoy of the Yundar Republic, have among us so openly?
Leowara shuddered, goosebumps rising on her skin. She took a deep breath, narrowed her eyes and forced a faint smile, trying not to betray her alarm. Yet the panic and unease in her voice were clear enough for Carl to detect with ease.
every time we meet, you appear under a different guise, Your Highness. What comes next, I wonder?
Carl kept his eyes fixed on hers and spoke softly.
Next time, I'll be a thief. I plan to steal something that should belong to me from you.
His tone carried a seriousness veiled beneath jest. The guests, noticing the unusual closeness and whispered words between them, began to gossip. They suspected there might be a bond from the past between the two.
People are watching us,
Carl said.
Since you've drawn so much attention, I trust you won't refuse me a dance. Perhaps while we dance, you might also tell me why you came here. Or would you rather I expose your identity and have you arrested on charges of espionage?
His words pressed her into a corner. Things were not unfolding as Leowara had imagined. Unsure of what to do, she found his persuasive, velvety tone made it all too easy to give in. Hiding her tension, she took his hand. In the shock of the moment, she could not think clearly. At Carl's command, the first dance began. Tradition had been broken. Carl was performing the opening dance, meant for the Emperor, with the mysterious woman. Soft music played as they started to move. While dancing, they managed for a moment to drift apart from the crowd. Now the stage was theirs, and all eyes were upon them.
How dare you threaten me?
Leora whispered.
I am an envoy.
Are you now? Then perhaps you could explain what you intended by concealing your identity. Moreover, since you failed to inform us through official channels of your arrival, your status as envoy is already in question. Your choice of attire, while flattering, is ostentatious and contrary to protocol. We had assumed you were well versed in our laws.
It was merely a security precaution to ensure my arrival went smoothly. We had no intention of hiding anything from you.
Carl's eyes locked onto hers, and Leowara, entranced, could not look away. It was Carl who broke the silence.
By the way, my offer at the lake still stands. I waited for hours that night, yet you never came. If you wish, we could spend tonight together. It isn't too late,
he said with mocking playfulness. It was as though Carl were going out of his way to embarrass her. Leowara suddenly broke off the dance. She pulled her hands away from him, trembling. Turning to the hall, she raised her voice, though it shook as she spoke.
I am Leowara Valenoria, High Envoy of the Yundar Republic. Thank you for your gracious dance, Your Highness. I could not refuse you. Do not think I speak now in response to your rudeness earlier today. Yet I did not come here to revel and dance at your ball either.
A deep murmur swept across the hall. Call's face darkened like night, and an icy expression settled in his eyes.
I had no eagerness to dance with you either. Rest assured, I have acted only in line with the interests of our empire,
he said in a harsh, cutting tone.
I was politely attempting to understand the situation of your improper arrival, an arrival that overstepped your authority and defied our protocols. But I had not realized you were so coarse.
The words were exaggerated and untrue, yet they stung Leoara. Am I truly someone unworthy of dancing with? Did he not even find me beautiful? She wondered briefly. Then she shook her head, scolding herself inwardly. Don't be ridiculous, Leoara. Remember where you are. Suddenly, it dawned on her. The pieces fell into place. It had all been the prince's scheme. I'm a fool. Such a fool, she berated herself, her inner voice raging. The man had struck her emotions like a musician pressing the right notes, forcing her to reveal her identity before everyone. As turmoil raged inside her, Call pressed on with a provocative tone.
You drift about like a spy, and now suddenly you claim to act as an envoy. Which are we to believe? Perhaps you're nothing more than an indecent woman from the back streets of the Empire. How can we even be sure you are from the Republic? Do you carry official papers?
Leoara flushed with anger.
How dare you, insolent man!
She cried, lifting her hand as if to strike him. But before she could, the air of the hall shifted. Prosecutor Aaliyah approached, her presence scattering the tension. She wore a graceful pink silk gown, her beauty and elegance radiating as she stepped forward. Wavy dark chestnut hair shimmered over her shoulders. Her skin bore the pure whiteness nurtured by the northern chill. Slightly almond-shaped hazel eyes glinted with an icy light. Her fine features framed a face of sharp grace, and her pale rose-pink lips curved as she spoke with a voice both mocking and resolute. In her eyes burned a spark of jealousy.
Yundar's envoy of peace, is it? Have you come to bring your dreams of peace into our empire? This is not the parlor of your little republic, Madam Envoy. If Lord Call takes an interest in you, you ought to feel grateful and honored. He abandons only those who fail to catch his attention,
Aaliyah said, her voice edged with scorn, though a shadow of sorrow flickered as she recalled days past. Leoara held her head high.
Peace is sharper than the sword, my lady. But I did not come here for banter, nor to quarrel with your precious prince. By order and authority of our Senate, I am here for the well-being of our peoples. I request a private audience with your kings and emperor.
The hall fell into silence. Carl raised a brow and spoke with calm composure.
Very well. Though your manner of arrival defied protocol, we will deliver your proposal to the proper authorities. Until then, please wait quietly in the hall and do not leave. Otherwise...
He paused.
Otherwise what?
Leoara demanded, glaring at him with anger.
Nothing. Only do not leave. We have disturbed enough already. Please remember, today is one of our sacred feast days,
Carl said, summoning his adjutant and instructing him to send word to the kings. Carl seemed amused by the unfolding scene, his lips carrying a diplomatic smile. Yet in the shadows, his agents Mira and Tech had already set their sights on the envoy's private chest. When Carl had told her, "Next time I shall be a thief," he had not been lying. He wanted every possession and piece of knowledge the envoy had brought. While the envoy was skillfully distracted, Tech and Mira meticulously plundered her quarters. Tech, with his ingenious devices, unlocked the mechanical safeguards protecting her chamber. Mira replaced the stolen documents with Eula's gold coins. Evading the Imperial guards had been easy for them. As for the servant left in Leora's chamber, They had slipped a special potion into his drink, leaving him unconscious. With Tech's mechanical alarm-disabling inventions and Mira's unmatched skill at opening locks, the two made an extraordinary thieving pair. But that night, the envoy was not their only target. At the same time, the sacred communication stones, gifts of the gods, as the kings called them, were also stolen. These stones were a secret link between the kings and the emperor, by which the empire was governed with ease. Somehow, Kaul already knew of their existence. Each king carried his sacred stone with him, and upon arriving at the imperial palace, would leave it securely locked in the treasury chamber. In place of the stolen stones, the same symbol had once again been left behind. Kaul was playing the game on two fronts at once. Meanwhile, Liawara stood in a corner of the ballroom, arms crossed, seething in frustration. I should never have come here. They were wrong to trust me. I've ruined everything, she thought, consumed by anxiety and self-reproach. The tense waiting was suddenly broken by something unexpected. In an instant, a translucent purple powder spread throughout the hall through a hidden mechanism. The guests did not notice it at first. Then all the candles burning across the ballroom were snuffed out within seconds, snuffed out as though a single breath had blown them all away at once. While the powder choked the flames, no one realized what was happening until the lights had gone out completely. A murmur of fear and panic swept through the hall. Goblets shattered, silks fell into shadow. From the highest point of the dome, the only place still faintly illuminated, a massive black cloth began to descend in splendor. Suspended from chains, linked to an unseen mechanism, it unfurled slowly, but with striking effect. People lifted their heads. The hall seemed to hold its breath. Cries of, "By the three, what is happening?" echoed. A colossal banner had been revealed, emblazoned with the shadowed emblem of the lost empire. At its center were three eyes, one closed, one open, and one gazing upward. Through the eyes slithered a serpent, linking them together. The curling figure that bound the eyes resembled either a serpent's tongue or the curse symbols of ancient alphabets. No one could understand what it meant. Then a child screamed. A lord, stumbling backward, crashed to the ground. "Who did this?" cried a portly lord. "Is this a threat?" "Has the ceremony been sabotaged?" asked the high priest. "Is it a sacred symbol or a cursed sign?" wondered a curious lady. Beneath the banner, a faintly glowing line could be read, "The Shadow Emperor has awakened. He is coming to claim what is his." In the corner, Ely brushed the purple dust from his hair and chuckled softly.
"What a commotion we've stirred up,"
he said with glee. Mira and Tech had long since completed their work in the dark corridors and treasury chamber. Maraxas and Zorak, who had been distracting the kings with diplomatic matters, were now ironically tasked with protecting them from the very chaos they had helped create. And Liawara. She stood frozen where she was. Her eyes locked on the symbol. She could make no sense of it. Yet a chill ran through her.
This could not be just a warning. This was something deeper. Something far older,
she whispered. She was certain she had seen the symbol before, in a book within the Republic's libraries. Kaul, amid the screams and panic of the crowd, kept his eyes fixed on the banner. His face was expressionless. This was his victory.